Hey everyone, we're back with a special festive developer update. We've got a lot to cover, so let's jump right in. Our December game update is arriving later this week. We've got some improvements to Season 14's new tools, a healthy amount of fixes, and some big player safety news. Ooh. First up, the Grapple Gun. We were purposefully cautious with the balancing of this new tool at launch to prioritise safeguarding the boarding meta. Now we've seen how this new addition has settled in, we can begin making some targeted improvements while still protecting the naval combat experience. In our December update, the range of the grapple gun has been increased to match the length of the ship's harpoon. The speed of firing is now much quicker, reducing the need for players to lead shots so much, and giving players a shorter wait after a failed shot before they can fire again. And when grappling to a location, players accelerate much faster the further they travel. In our update in January, we'll also be making further improvements, with refunding ammo and missed shots and enabling you to grapple to rowboats. These buffs should improve the flow of traversal and just make using the grapple gun more fun, while still protecting the broader meta. Now, along with the new mimic dart arriving in December, the blowpipe is also getting some love, with a switch dart button to quickly change dart types, and the ability for players to disable automatic switching when running out of ammo. Now, onto fixes. The various Season 14 Commendation bugs preventing players from purchasing those well-deserved disguises should now be fixed. And as carelessly described by me in previous patch notes, the enchanted Murfruit will now no longer be selected when cycling through food using your hotkeys. Now, I'm sorry to always be the bearer of bad news, but the giant flowers and the tiny buckets have also been fixed in this update. I know, feels like I've just ruined Christmas. Now, over to player safety. Time for an update on something I know you'll be interested in. Pause for dramatic effect. Ban evasion. Starting with December's update, we're rolling out detections to start cracking down on players circumventing game bans to regain access to Sea of Thieves. We're going to hold our cards close to our chest here and roll this tech out slowly, targeting players in waves over time. So while we're kicking this off in December, this will be happening over our next few updates. While you might still see reports of players evading bans following our update in December, fear not, we'll get to them. Next up, let's talk about some changes we're going to be making ahead of our next season. Let's start with Insiders. We already get tremendous value from our Insiders program, and those dedicated players who take time to give feedback and report bugs. The reason we delayed November's update for a few days was due to an insider reaching out with a critical issue that they'd found, allowing us to make the call to hold the update until we could resolve it. I'm not going to share their name, but you know who you are, and thank you. Even with that though, we know we can get more value from your playtime in Insiders, and reward those players who are helping us by actively participating in gameplay. We're therefore going to be changing how we reward players. Insiders will no longer earn their reward by playing for an hour, and instead will be tasked with reaching a reputation goal each week. This approach should encourage more meaningful gameplay, higher density servers, and more player interaction. All things that will help us get a more representative view of the health of the game. This change will be rolling out before we break for the holidays, and we'll share more on the Insider forums at that time. Next up, performance. I've shared before that game performance has been declining over time, with new features being added into the game regularly, and not enough focus on maintaining performance. And it's clear, we've gotten ourselves into a bad place. This has been an area that we've had our game health team directed towards, but it's still a small team, and they've had their focus split between exploits, cheat detection, and game performance. We've been making progress, but just not fast enough. Therefore, we've diverted various parts of our team away from features over to a focused performance bash. Our goal here is to target the worst performing areas and bring improvements in much sooner over the next few game updates. In order to land these, however, we need to clear the runway and reduce the amount of change that we're introducing, creating a more stable base to work from. With this in mind, we're going to be holding back Season 15's expansion to the Hunter's Call, and that's now going to launch in February. We're also going to be making a change to how we release features in our next season. We're going to be splitting them up and delivering them across February, March and April. Now, The primary goal is to slow the rate of change arriving in each update so we can better manage performance. But we are going to keep a close eye on how splitting up the season's features over a few months could change players' enjoyment of the season as a whole. At this stage, this is not a commitment to us splitting up future seasons into smaller chunks, but we're keen to assess how Season 15 goes with this different approach. Well, that's a wrap. I know this year hasn't been particularly smooth sailing, but hopefully you're starting to see the necessary changes we're making to set us on a path to a healthier place. From me and all the team here at Rare, happy holidays, and we'll see you all next year.